I know. So in the last video, we spoke about the security of one's money. In this video, can a bank do the same? Like, what's the difference between the banks in Israel and clear currency?
Sure. I mean, of course, the banks can do transfers, but whether you get the service like you would with us, and the extortionate fees that they charge you, you're never going to have that amount with us. So we understand obviously that people are going to feel really comfortable with their banks. Most people have been banking with them for years and years, and they have really, really strong relationships, maybe even private banking. However, as a trusted provider, we can offer our clients a full 360 basically. So not only do you get access to our team 24/7, you're able to lock in the rates. So if you like the look of the rate on the day, you can lock it in. You can get live payment information. And the biggest thing is knowing exactly how many shekels you're going to receive in your account when you purchase currency, which is something that you just can't get from your bank. If you tell your bank to send $50,000, you don't know how many shekels you're going to receive until it arrives in Israel. Whereas with us, we can say for 50,000 shekels, you will receive X amount of shekels, and that's what will arrive in your account.
Okay, that's actually very interesting. So you just mentioned that I can lock in a rate.
Yes.
Meaning if I use you today at, let's say the shekel to dollar is going for what, like 3.5 shekels to $1?
Yeah, it's not quite that high, but yeah, it's about 320, 323. Yeah.
I just remember when I was in Israel several years ago, it was like, I think almost 4 to 1.
Yeah,
So
yeah, unfortunately it's not. And due to certain circumstances globally at the moment, it's kind of plummeted a little bit. So yeah, it's looking about 322, 323. So if you liked the look of that rate today, we could offer you an amount and you would agree, and we would lock that in for you. We would then give you a couple of days to send us the money. We give you a bit of leeway, but regardless of how, even if you don't get the money to us till Friday, we will make sure that we book in the money for you. You get that rate, and then we'll then send you on the shekels. Whereas that will never happen with your bank.
Got it. So like I can lock in a rate for 3.22 today, and even though my money will still be in the bank and my house won't close for another 6 months to a year, it'll still be locked
Yeah, that's
in.
that's a different kind of rate. So that what I'm talking about is a spot rate. So that's booking in the rate. Yeah, so that's booking in today's rate. So you're booking an immediate transfer on today's rate. What you mentioned there is called a forward rate. So for example, if the rate shot up to as 350, for example, and you just thought, wow, this is amazing, it hasn't been this high in a year, what we could do for you is lock in that rate at 350. We would ask for a 10% deposit. So if you're sending 100,000, you'd lock it in at 10,000, and we would hold that rate for you at 350 for a whole year.
Wow, that's amazing. That's incredible.
Yeah, so that's something that your bank would never ever offer you, or be able to offer you. So what we basically do is we buy the currency for you today for the full amount of that rate, and then we just ask you for a deposit. We don't take that deposit from you. We still use that's still part of your money. But then when you get the remaining 90,000, you just send that on to us, and we then send you the shekels.
Okay. And can we dive more into the banks? Like the banks, like, are they known for this is what someone else told me, and I want to confirm it with you. Do the banks sometimes lose your money? Like, has that ever happened? Because
they don't necessarily lose your money, but they just it just takes a little bit of time to figure it out. So basically what happens is, say you bank with Bank of America send the funds to Israel, but Israel aren't aware that the money's on the way, and then it arrives, but there's no kind of there's no correspondence between it leaving America and arriving in Israel. So when the money arrives, it's up to you to then chase the bank and say, have you got my money? Can you please release it? Because obviously there's thousands of payments going through daily. So that's kind of a bit of a barrier. Also, there's the language barrier. Sometimes in Israel, the banks will only speak in Hebrew. And if you don't have very good Hebrew and you're calling from the US, there's also that barrier there. Plus, sometimes the documentation is a bit misconstrued. So some people might send in documents and the bank maybe doesn't understand what it is, or has to get it translated to Hebrew and things, and it can take time. Whereas with us, that's not the case. So, you get all of the documentation translated in-house. We have a team here that do it for us. It's done immediately. And you also get kept updated in terms of the timing. So as soon as the money arrives with us, we know. And then as soon as it arrives in Israel, it doesn't take weeks and weeks, which I've had cases of clients where it can take weeks and weeks using your bank. And, we're just upfront about what we can offer. And the fact that you get to talk to the same person all the time, with your bank. If you were phoning Mizrahi, for example, in Ranana, you would never get the same person answering the phone as you would with us. So you get the clarity and you understand that this person knows what my transfer is, when it's happening, and what I'm doing, and they can kind of give you a bit of correspondence along the way.
Right. I mean, the bottom line is, with the banks, it's very difficult to track your money, and I don't know about everyone else watching this, but I would freak out. I would
It'd be
lose
very,
my
very
mind if I
stressful.
don't
There's
know.
lots of people. And then sometimes it can be a couple of weeks, and then the banks actually say, no, we're sending it back. We didn't have the right documentation. But also just the charges the banks give you is astronomical. You'll get charged to send and receive the funds. So your US bank will charge you, your Israeli bank will charge you. Plus you could get charges in between from intermediary banks that you're not aware of. And then also the actual spread, the live rate that they'll give you, it will be horrible. So for us, you won't get charged to send and receive the money, which is instantly a saving. And then the actual margin on the spread, which we'll talk in more detail in another episode, will be a lot smaller than what it is with the bank.
Wow, that's incredible. That I'm happy you exist.
We've saved people a lot of money. And how we word it quite regularly is, for example, you're saving say $2,000-3,000 on every transfer for every 100,000, you can save up to 2,000 or 3,000. So that could pay for your legal fees or for your part of your removal, and it can cover other costs that you maybe weren't expecting just by saving on the currency.
Right. That's incredible. Okay, so I think we covered a lot about the banks versus clear currency. Is there anything else that I am missing, or if not, then what do we have in the next video?
Yeah, sure. So there's not really much more you're missing. As I say, we're in the same regulatory body as the bank. So everything that we ask for and require would be the same as what the banks would. So in our next episode, we're going to talk a little bit more about, the documentation that maybe we'd ask for internally, and just kind of the products as well in more detail. So, I mentioned about forward contracts and spot contracts, but I'm going to talk about that in a bit more detail and some of the benefits that you can gain from that.
Yeah, thank you very much, Naomi. I really do appreciate it.
No problem at all. Looking forward to catching up next time.
Absolutely.